Hi everyone, my name is Kevin and I am here with Novedge marketing strategist Aurora. Aurora, can you say hi to everybody here?
Hi everybody, I'm glad to join Kevin today.
Hi everybody, I'm glad to join.
Very cool. So both of us in Novedge want to welcome you all again to another exciting installment of our Novedge Webinar series. For today's episode 67, we have with us Cadablog's own Brian Benton. Brian Benton, feel free to say hi.
Hello.
Cool.
I'm glad you all are here, and I'm glad to be here too.
Sweet. Brian Benton will be on hand to demonstrate and showcase the power of AutoCAD Sheet Sets for project management. Today's webinar presentation will be about 40 minutes long, and afterwards we'll have a brief live Q&A session where Brian will field questions from those attending and maybe on Twitter as well. So if you don't know who Brian Benton is, he has over 20 years of CAD-based design and project management experience. In addition to his regular 9-to-5, he is a recent inductee to Autodesk's Expert Elite program. Congratulations on that. He is a prolific Autodesk User Group International writer and a regular Cadalyst contributor. He's worked with Infinite Skills to create a series of in-depth AutoCAD training videos. And I remember, Brian, you mentioned something about Cybex publishing?
Yes, last year I was able to assist George O'Meara in updating his book, Mastering AutoCAD and AutoCAD LT 2013.
So definitely check that out too, guys, afterwards, after the presentation. But before we get going with the presentation today, here's an overview of what we do at Novedge. The Novedge Webinar series is brought to you in part by Novedge.com. As one of the largest online design software stores, we offer a huge assortment of software solutions that cater to virtually every designer's need. If you're interested in purchasing a copy of AutoCAD 2013 for Windows, it is available in the United States from Novedge with free shipping. Wow. So give us a call and feel free to contact our sales representative, scott@novedge.com. Also, today's presentation is a brief overview of AutoCAD Sheet Sets. If you'd like to learn more and go deeper into what AutoCAD can do for you, check out Brian Benton's digital edition of Learning to Use AutoCAD Sheet Sets from Infinite Skills. And for those of you attending, there is a discount code in your follow-up emails as well. Also, I think Aurora's going to make some announcements as well. Cool.
Hi everybody, yes, I want to invite you all to participate in our online community, wikicad.org. You can also find us on Twitter at wikicad and on Facebook. Wikicad is the online community for all CAD users, and it's for you to, exchange tips and show your work and get feedback. Also, twice a week, I interview innovators and artists for the blog. So follow us at blog novedge.com, and you will read about what's happening in the world of CAD and design. Our next upcoming webinar will be with Bluebeam Review 11, and I'm getting the information right now. So it's going to be webinar episode 68, and we'll delve into the latest version of Review 11, a collaborative tool that will increase your team's efficiency. The new release of Review 11 shows that there are no limits to what you can achieve. East Coast Regional Manager from Bluebeam, James Chambers, will present and answer your questions live. So for more details, visit our webinar page at novedge.com, webinar 68.
Cool, and just to let you know, today's webinar with Brian Benton is recorded live. So if you miss something or if you have to grab lunch, prepare dinner, you can catch up with our latest webinar on our channels at vimeo.com/Novedge and also at youtube.com/Novedge as well. All right, Brian Benton, are you ready?
I might as well since we're all here.
Cool, all right, so I'm going to switch presentation, turn you into the presenter right now. Okay, guys, enjoy and save your questions or share them right now through the chat window, and we'll make sure to have them answered by Brian Benton afterwards.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm showing my screen, and can everyone see it?
Looking sharp.
Good, fantastic. All right, so I'm assuming that you've all used AutoCAD before or some AutoCAD vertical. Today we're going to talk about using sheet sets, specifically as using them as a form of project management. I don't know how familiar all of you are with sheet sets, but they've been around for a while now, since I believe AutoCAD 2006 or so. So we've had them for a long enough time where we can get used to them. And they really haven't changed much either over the past few releases. So I will be presenting in AutoCAD 2013 today, but if you're using versions far back, you should still be fine, because the basic essence of them haven't really changed that much. So don't worry if you're on a different version. But sheet sets are fantastic. It's a great tool. It comes within AutoCAD, so you're not paying extra to use it. And they're actually very simple to use once you get the general idea of how they work. There are three main things that sheet sets can help you do, three fields or three areas where they cover for you, where they can give you help. One of them is in printing or publishing, and that one is more prevalent or more often used by CAD users than any of the other features, because you can get your list of your drawings, all of your drawings or some of your drawings, and you can send them all to the printer or your plotter or to a PDF file, etc. So it really helps with that, especially if you have large drawing sets. Also, another form that they help you with is in file access or file management. You can easily get to files. You can get to the latest file. You know which file is the proper file, and it's very easy to access those files, especially if you have multiple departments working on a project. Another aspect to it, or the third aspect, is in project data information management. So you can put in project-specific information or data into your sheet set and manage that across your entire set of construction documents. So a little bit, before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. Kevin already gave you a bit of information, so I don't want to bore you too much with that. But I've been using CAD software for about 20 years now, and in a lot of different fields. My first CAD job was working for a tank car company in the Midwest, and I was simply just redrawing their old board drawings into CAD for them. So I did that for a while, and I moved on to a small mechanical firm. So I've done some mechanical drawing, and we did a lot of machine updates and upgrades and modifications for various steel mills in our area. And then I went on and did some structural inspection and design work for a small firm in the area. So I did a lot of structural detailing, layout designs, and inspections, and specifically for the steel mills in the area where I was at. But for the past 10 years or so now, I've been working in civil engineering, land development, working with surveying, land planning, environmental engineers, and I've even done some work with some marine engineering. So I've seen a lot of different stuff and a lot of different fields. But one thing that we've had in common is CAD, and one thing that we could have always benefited from once it was available were sheet sets. So sheet sets are universally adapted or adopted or can be used. So I'm going to give some examples today just of some very simple mechanical drawings from a machine part, and these are just really just some sample files from Autodesk's website that I downloaded and are using for this because they simply work. So the nice thing about sheet sets is that they're easy to get to. Now when you're in AutoCAD, there are a lot of different ways to open up your sheet set manager. One of them is just to type in SSM for sheet set manager, and that will open it up. And the sheet set manager is just a regular palette, just like any of the other palettes. So you can move it around, you can hide it, you can dock it if you want, you can even delete it. You can also press Control and the number 4 to open it up. Now if you're not using AutoCAD or one of the verticals, if you're using AutoCAD LT, in the past, I don't remember now if it was 2012 or 2013 release, Autodesk did add sheet sets to AutoCAD LT, so that's fantastic. So if you have that, you can use sheet sets in the sheet set manager in almost anything that you're likely using. So the sheet set manager is just your tool that you'll go in to manage your set of drawings. And there are a lot of different things that you can do with it. You can open up an existing sheet set file that you've created, or you can create a new one, of course. So your AutoCAD files are .dwg, they're drawing files. Well, a sheet set file is a .dst file. So if you see that file somewhere, that's what that is. Now, just like with regular AutoCAD files, if you go into Windows Explorer, you can open up that file and open up and launch AutoCAD with a DWG file. You can do the same thing with the sheet set file. So if you browse to your DST file through Windows Explorer, you can just double click it or right click and open, and it will open up and launch AutoCAD and open up that sheet set file. So that's a nice little trick or tool that you can use to help with project management. Now, one of the key benefits to project management through sheet set use is that you can give easy access to all of your drawings to anyone who needs it. So I'm going to open up my example file now. I'm just going to click on Open. And you can click on Open and browse to where the file is, or if you've gone to it recently, you can just hover over the Recent button here, and it will show you where the folder is at and how to get to it. So this is my file right here, and when I click on it, it opens it up, and it populates this list on your screen. Now, these are all of the drawings that I have in this sheet set. Now, once you know where that DST file is at, you can easily access it. One of the other nice things about AutoCAD is that it will also put it for you right here in your recent files, and you can pin that right to your recent file so that it stays there. If you double click on it, it will open up your sheet set file. So there are a lot of tools in here to help your users, looking at this from the CAD manager's perspective, there are a lot of ways to help your users get to the right files and get to the proper files. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this yourselves, but I know it's a continuing struggle for people to know what the latest file is, especially when you have multiple departments. Working for a civil design firm like I do during the day, we have several departments. We have our planning department, we have our engineering department, we have our landscape architectural department, survey department, and we all work with similar files. We share base files that we each XREF here and there, but then we all have our own drawing files. And a lot of times I'll need to know what the survey drawing is, what the latest is, or what's the latest one for a plat, etc. Well, instead of calling them up and say, hey, which one is it, send me the link to it, I don't have to. I can just come to my sheet set, find the file I need, double click on it, and it opens it up right here. And that's one of the beautiful things about file access and sheet sets. Now, all of my users, including myself, will always know what the proper file is. They can make revision after revision in my drawings, and as long as we don't change the location or the name of that file, I will always be accessing the correct file. And I love that. That has solved so many problems for us where we're at, that alone, added into the printing, makes using sheet sets well worth it. Even though a lot of times saying sheet sets over and over again can really just twist up your tongue. So you saw here how I was able to open up the file just by double clicking on it. And hopefully you can notice also there's a little lock icon that's on that file. That means and tells everyone else that someone has that file opened so that they can't open it unless it's open in a read-only. So that's very good. That lets you know what's going on. Now you can always open up more than one file at a time because this is AutoCAD. And just find the other file you want and double click on it and it opens it up. And you can see now I have two lock icons on my sheet sets. So this is one of the biggest features to using sheet sets for project management, is giving instant access to the proper files to all of your users. The other big and very simple, and this is also where the benefit is extremely obvious, is in printing. Now, a lot of times, maybe one person has created all the files, but then that person goes home sick for the day or is on vacation, and the project manager goes to somebody else and says, hey, look, I need you to print out all of the part drawings from that manufacturing sheet set project. So that's great. How do they know which files they are, where they're located at? Well, they don't have to even think about it. They don't have to worry about it at all. They just open up the sheet set, go to these parts, go to this subset, as it's called, right-click on it, and publish. And you can publish it to a lot of different file types, a DWF, DWFX, a PDF. You can publish it to the plotter that's set up in the file. Now, that's only going to work as long as the page setups are correct. But you can also use page setup overrides. If you go to the page setup overrides, you can tell them all to print to, like in this case, it says an ISO A3 size. Or if you're, like I am here in the United States, we'll use architectural size drawings or ANSI size drawings. You can set it up to print to any of those settings or page sizes right from the Sheet Set Manager. That's a huge benefit. Typically, where I work at, we typically print to a 24-inch by 36-inch architectural D size drawing. But those are very large, and a lot of times we need something printed out smaller, usually 11 by 17. It's just easier to handle. Project managers can keep them on their desk, put them in a filing cabinet. They are much easier to send out in the mail or just to hand off to somebody. That's fine. You can set up a page setup inside your sheet setup file to do that. And you don't even have to open up any of these files at all. You can just set this up and print to it. Now, to do that, you have to make sure there are a couple of things set up first. One is the actual page setup. If you come down here to the Manage Page Setups, and you click on it, you'll see that this looks very familiar to most of you, I'm sure. This just looks like your regular page setup manager. Well, that's because it is. But what it's doing is creating page setups for a template file, a DWT file. So when you use your sheet sets, there are three things that you're going to want to make sure you have. One is your drawings, of course. Two is your sheet set file, the DST. And another one is a DWT file, or a template file. Now, I'm sure all of you are already using some sort of template file. And in it, you already have set up your layers. You have your title blocks already set up. Any blocks that you're going to want to use, any dimension styles, text styles, even page setups. Well, that's fantastic. If you have that, then you're all finished. What you will do is assign that DWT file to your sheet set, and then all of the page setups that are in that template file will be available to you right here. So page setups, because of sheet sets, are almost a thing of the past per drawing file. I still recommend setting them up. But you just set up a sheet setup, you just set up a page setup inside your page setup manager for your sheet set, and it will assign it to your template file, and then you can use it automatically just with a few clicks of the button to print out your drawing set to whatever size sheet or printer, plotter, color, black and white, whatever you need to do to set it up. And that's a big time saver. And that's a fantastic tool that you can use to help with sheet sets. It's one of my favorite, and it's one that I use often. I got out of the office early today to come here to do this presentation, and I had 4 different projects that all of a sudden everyone needed printed out right away. Well, if I had to do that the old-fashioned way, I'd still be there printing these things out. But because I was using sheet sets to manage all of them, it was very easy. I opened up the sheet set. I just came to the different subsets and everything that I wanted, right-click, publish, went to my publish, manage page setups, made sure it was set up correctly for the size I wanted, and then I just hit the publish using page setup override. And then that will use the page setups again from your template files. Now you can see here through this list that there are a lot of different options to use with your sheet sets. If you have a plot stamp set up, you can use that. You can even get to the settings for it right here. So a lot of times I've found, where I'm working at especially, being a diverse group of people, that we all like to do things a little bit differently. Someone will have a plot stamp set up on the left side of the drawing. Sometimes people will have one on the right. Sometimes they won't put them on at all. That happens. Well, you can override all of that for your entire set right through your sheet set manager. And again, this is helping you to print and manage your hard copy documents all at the same time. And if you like to use the publisher, you can. You can open all these files up right in the Publish dialog box, which just brings up the good old-fashioned publisher. And you can come in here, arrange everything you want, set it up to print to a plotter, and from here you can print out multiple copies. So if you need 5 sets of everything, you can tell it will print it out, it will collate it. All you'll have to do is bind it up, roll it up, and ship it out. Now that's one thing though you can't do if you go to publish any of these things in your drawings right to the page setup override. It will only print 1 copy of every sheet. So if you need multiple copies and you want to use your page setup override, you're going to have to do this 3, 4, 5 times, however many times, for how many sheets that you need. But then again, it's also pretty simple to do, so it's not that difficult and something that you can just keep going and doing, which is nice. Now I mentioned needing a template file to be set up or assigned to your sheet set. Well, that's pretty simple to do. The top here is your main sheet set. This is the name of it, and the rest of this is your drawing list. Well, if you right-click up here, you can have access to all of your basic commands, like closing the sheet set itself, making a new sheet, making a new subset, importing layouts as sheets, resaving all the sheets, which has been really nice. I've used this several times, especially when we've had older files that were from older versions of AutoCAD, and we needed to update them all. Just a few weeks ago I had this happen. We had a bunch of drawings that were in AutoCAD version, I think it was 2007, and we wanted them saved up to 2010 because we're using Civil 3D 2011 where I work at. And so we were able to do this, and that fixed some issues that we were having. But if you go to the properties, I'll try not to get on too many tangents here, but there's so much that you can talk about with sheet sets, believe it or not. The training video that I did make with Infinite Skills is about 3.5 hours long. And once I was finished, I was just blown away. I couldn't believe that you could talk for sheet sets for that long. But trust me, I can, though we won't today. Well, these are your basic settings for your sheet set. And there's a lot of information that is in here that you can set up. One of them is the name. So when you fill this out, that's the name that's going to appear right here in the top. Now what I tend to do is put in a project number and a project name for that sheet set. So it makes it easy to identify very quickly, especially when you're trying to go through a list of drawings here or a list of sheet sets that you want to open. If I go to the recent, I get a bunch of lists here, and now I can see what's going on, and it helps it to understand what it is that I'm trying to select. So again, if I right-click here and go to the properties again, we can go and set up a lot of our settings. Now, our sheet set data file, that's the file right here. That's a DST file, and this just tells me where it's saved at. So that's important to know. Now, depending on how you're going to use sheet sets with your project file, one thing that I've discussed several times with some of the people I worked at is to keep all of the sheet sets in one central location on the network. That way all of our users only have to go to one place, find the right sheet set, and then open it up. That's a possibility. I prefer, and what we've been doing, and it's been successful, is to just save our DST file with our project folder on our network. That way it's all together. And it tends to work better that way. When I mean by sheet sets, when your sheet sets have to go to other folders on other networks or on other drives like that, it can tend to get confused and bogged down a bit. It works best when it's in the same general folder, or at least a parent or child folder of your folders where your files are saved at. So continuing down the list here, we have a description, and you can just put in the project title or whatever it is that you need to put on there. Now the model view is something that will help you with your data management and your drawing creation. Your model view will save, or not save, but give you access, quick access to the model view saved names file that named view that you have saved in that file. So you browse to a file, you look to find where it is, and then you add it. I'm going to try to find what I have here. It's on my desktop. There we go. And my project files here, this folder is empty. So you see I don't have any in there. I don't remember exactly where it is. But what that does is it saves or gives access to a saved named view in model space. So if you go to create other drawings and you want to import that saved view into your drawing or give you access right to it, it will help you do that. So that's a quick way to help you get access to or easing your drawing creation methods. Another tool that you can use to help you out are the call-out blocks or label block views. Now this is where you want to reference your DWT file, and that's what we've done here. We've created a template file that goes with this sheet set. And in that template file I have a block that's set up to label all of our views, like a section view, cross-section view, a detail, a blow-up view, something like that. And what will happen is that I can create a view, I'm making the drawing, and I need that block. I can access this tool right here from Sheet Sets, and it will insert the proper block and put it into my drawing for me. Now that's really nice because then I get all of my labels, or my titles to look the same. I don't know how many times that you've come across that where we've copied a view from a drawing or a detail or a cross-section from another project, and somehow the titles have different text styles, different layers, different heights, different fonts, etc. And that happens and it just makes your drawings look ugly. Well, this will help you to eliminate that by using the same block all the time. Same thing here with a call-out block. It'll do the same sort of thing. And then this is where you set up your page setup overrides file. And that's just a link to your template file that you're going to use. And you can use any template file in any of these cases. And they can all three be the same file. They can all three be different files. That's fine. It's just up to you and how you are going to manage your work that way. But this gives you access to the page setups that you're going to use in the page setup override files. Now the rest of this is just field information that you can enter in to be used, and this is where we kind of get into that third aspect that I mentioned earlier, the project data management. So here, if we have like a number for, or a field for a project number, so however you assign project numbers in your company, I'm just going to make something up here. Let's just say XYZ123 is our project number. Now, what's nice about this is that I can reference this project number, or any of these fields down here for that matter, project name, project phase, milestone, etc., and I can reference that into any of my drawings. Now what that does for you is that it will make sure the data you need to show is consistent across all of your drawings, and that really helps. So I'm going to give you a quick example of what that is. I'm going to close my sheet set. Now if I go to like a template here for a title block and I find some text, and it can be attributed text, it can be just regular text, it can be text in a block, it can be a dimension, it can be a multi-leader, it can be anything. So if I just access this text object right here, and I want to put in some sort of information in a note or whatever it needs to be, I will use a field. And if you right-click and say, and pick on the Insert Field, or you can hit Control-F, that brings up your field control box here. Now there are a lot of bits of information, as you can see here, that you can add in to a field. But what I want in this case is sheet set. So I'll click on this field category. Instead of the all, I want sheet set. And this makes you, or gives you a smaller list of items to choose from, and it's very manageable. And what it's going to do is look at the current sheet set that this drawing is assigned to. Now also keep in mind that you can only assign paper space tabs to the sheet set. So you can't assign a model space tab to it. And you can only assign a paper space tab to one sheet set. That's good and bad. And sometimes it would be nice to be able to assign it to multiple sheets or to multiple sets. However, it won't let you. So that's also good because then somebody else can't accidentally mess up your drawing. But to add sheet set information as a field into any text or notes or dimensions or callouts, you just come here to the sheet set, find out what you want, and select it. This little preview box right here will show you what your field information is going to look like. You can also pick from anything from this list that we have, like drawing number, which is this right here, and this is what it's going to look like. Number title, and your revision date, revision number. You can see there are a lot of bits of information here that you can pick from. And there are two kinds of sheet set data. One is from the sheet set, one is from a sheet. And I'll show you a little bit about those, what the differences are. So if I open up my sheet set manager again, and I right click up here on the sheet set title and go to the properties, we have sheet custom properties and we have sheet set custom properties. Now you can do the exact same thing in either one of these types of information. Now the differences are that sheet set custom properties, these here on the bottom, will be applied to the entire sheet or the entire set of your drawings. So if it's information that all of your drawings are going to need, like a total number of sheets for your set, that's when you're going to want to put here. And to create those, you just hit Edit Custom Properties, and this brings up another window, and it has a list of all of your custom properties. You can add or delete any of these from here. So I'm going to add one by clicking the Add button, and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Total Sheets in Set, and you can call it whatever name you want. I'm going to add a default value to it. Right now I'm just going to say 99, and you can always go back and change that. Now you have an option here for the owner, the sheet set or the sheet. Now the sheet set is just one general repository of information. It's something that you're going to put on multiple sheets, and it's going to be the exact same value for all of them. So maybe you have an issue date, the date that it's issued, or if it's issued preliminary or as draft. You can put in a custom field that will show that, and it goes everywhere on all of your drawings. One example here is total sheets. So then that's the type of thing you're going to want to assign to a sheet set. Now, something you might want to add to just the custom sheet properties, I have two of them right here. One is drawn by. Now, a lot of times in your company, it may be the same person who works on one project, and they do or create all of the drawings themselves. But a lot of times, like where I work at, we have multiple people working on a project. So drawings 1 through 5 might be drawn by me, but drawings 6 through 10 may be drawn by somebody else. Well, that's something that you would want to assign to a sheet. And to change that, you would have to change it on every sheet. So you click OK, you have these assignments set up, and to change that information for the sheet set, just right-click on the sheet set name, and you change your information here. Now, if you have information for a specific drawing, like let's say drawing number 2 here, you could right-click on it and go to Properties. As you can see, this sheet properties list is much smaller than our sheet set property list. Well, all of this information is accessible by a field, but it is unique to this one drawing. And if you have multiple paper space tabs for multiple drawings in one file, that's okay, because all of this bit of information is assigned to that one tab and not to the file per se. So if this guy didn't really draw this file, I can change it. I can just say Brian. And if it has a different revision number, I can change that. I can say it's on revision 2, or perhaps sheet number 3 is on revision 5. Who knows? That's what happens. So I change these, I click OK, and my information is updated, but only for that one drawing. So that's a bit of a difference between the information that you have available for your project data. Now, a lot of times what I'll put into our projects, being with a civil design firm, we do a lot of residential design, and so we do a lot of water management. We'll have a lake or a pond that has a control elevation, and that's just an elevation that the water is controlled by. We'll try not to exceed that, and everything drains down from there, type of a thing. So a lot of times I'll put that bit of information in our sheet set, and when someone calls me up and says, hey Brian, what's the control elevation for this project? Well, I can just look it up right here. And then an engineer can come up and say to me, hey Brian, we've reworked this now. The permits aren't going to work properly. We need to raise the control elevation, you know, a couple of tenths or something. And I was like, oh man, now I have to go to all of my drawings and change that everywhere. Well, no, I don't. Because I was smart, and I purchased my training DVDs on how to use sheet sets, so I was well aware this could come up. So what I did was I went to my Edit Custom Properties before I started, click Add, and entered a field called Control Elevation. Now, depending on where you live, that could be pretty high, it could be pretty low. I'm just going to say it's 10 feet. Click OK, OK, OK. And now I'm going to close this here. Let's say I needed a multi-liter. I'm just going to, I know it's not the exact same type of data, but that's okay. I am pressing Control F to get me to my fields so that I can insert them. And I want sheet sets. So I go to sheet sets, and then I go to current sheet set custom. So this will give me my custom bits of information that I can pick from. And you can see here I have a lot of great stuff. This is one of my favorite. Who's the best CAD guy ever? What do you know? It has my name. Not sure how that got in there. But what I'm looking for is a control elevation. It says 10 feet. Click OK, and there it is, 10 feet. Now, if you've used fields before, you'll understand why there's this gray background. That gray background is a visual aid to let you know, the CAD user, that that's a field. And you can change that through your settings if you want it to be a different color. If you don't like the color gray, it's too depressing, you want it to be a bright orange or yellow or whatever, that's fine. You can even turn that off. But I just leave it. But what's really cool here about this is that, okay, now if that elevation changes, I can go back to my sheet set, right-click on here, go to my properties, and here's the control elevation, 10. Let's say it really bumped it up now, it's 20. Yeah, that's a big change. We really messed up that design. Click OK. It's updated. When I save my file, mistake here, let's see. Uh-oh. We're okay. It's not over. Okay, so when I save my file and do a refresh, you can see right here that instantly turned to 20. So if I've done this process throughout my drawing, everywhere I need to show that bit of information, I can make one change and my entire drawing set has been updated. And that's project data management. It's very simple to do here in your sheet sets, and it's fantastic. It can be a great time saver. So if you have bits of information that show up over and over again that have to be the same throughout your project, use sheet sets and use a field. I'm trying to remember exactly what I've missed here. I've just jumped all over the place, and I apologize if I've lost anybody. Oh, one more thing I want to show you guys, because our time is quickly running out, is another bit of data management, project management, and ease of access of files all kind of combined into one. And that is making new drawings. You can use your sheet set manager to create new files with a proper template and save it in the right place. I don't know if that's ever been a problem for anyone that's here, but a lot of times that's something that happens. Like, okay, well, where do I need to save the file? What do I need to call it? What template do I use? Well, you can answer all those questions through your sheet set manager. Just come up here to your properties, right-click on it, and click on the New Sheet button. And what that will do is it will ask you for a number. Let's say I'm on 15 here. So let's say I want drawing 16. And you can see as I'm typing in this description, it's going to use this template right here because that's what I've assigned to it. Remember when I talked about assigning a template file to our project or to our sheet set file? That's one of the other reasons why we want to do this. Here's the folder path. This is where it's being saved to. It's being saved to where I've told it to my properties. It's giving it a name and giving it a title. Sheet 16, I'm just going to say test sheet, new sheet creation. You can call it whatever you want. And here in my file name, I can give it a unique file name by drawing number, as that automatically populates in there, or I can just give it whatever I want. And this is where it's going to save. Click OK. It's automatically added to my sheet set. Now if I double click it, it will open it up right here. I have the right template because I've assigned it to my sheet set. It goes to the right location on the server because that's where I've told it to do ahead of time, and I'm good to go. I use the proper template file, so I have my title block here that I want to use, and you can see here a lot of this information has already been filled out. The sheet number, sheet title, the date that I made it on, the scale is and drawn by, which has not been filled out. But I can assign that in my template file to match my standard DST file so that these things will automatically be created, and that alone is going to save you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of time in that I don't have to set up the title block, and it saves a lot of time in that if I've set it up correctly the first time. So that's in a real nutshell and a real condensed, real quick version of how sheet sets can help you in project management. Remember the three main things and how they help you. One is in publishing or printing, in batch printing. Two is ease of access to your files. Everyone can access the proper files, the proper revision in the right place. They don't have to hunt them down. And then the third one is in project data management. We saw a little bit of demonstration on all three of these things, but in order to do that, you really need a good template file set up ahead of time, your DST file, and setting up a template, a template DWT file for your drawing template file, for your CAD drawing DWT. You need that, and you need a template DST file. Now, sheet sets don't have template files the way your AutoCAD drawings have template files. They just have DST files. So what you do is you set one up, you add all of your custom properties to it that you're going to need. You set up your page setup override file right here, your drawing folders, files, and your sheet creation. Right here, this is where you assign the folder where it goes to. Now you'll change that specifically for your new project, and this is the template. You can also set it up to where it will ask you to use a template. So instead of assigning one specific template to you, it will ask you what template you want to use, and you or your users can go and browse for that automatically. So set up your DST file ahead of time, and then just copy it and put it into your project folder, and then make any minor changes that you need to. Fill out the information, project name, due date, whatever it is that you're going to have to fill out for, and then start from there. And it will really help you out, especially in smaller firms, and it will really help you out and manage your project, giving you easy access and printing. So I think now, Kevin and Aurora, if I'm right, it's about time where we're going to take some questions, and I'm going to try to read some of these questions here.
Yeah, go for it.
Real quick, and see if I can answer them. So if you have some questions, I don't know that we'll be able to get to all of them, but I'm going to try to get to what I can.
Okay.
And answer them as best as I can.
Cool. We might have a little bit of time. We can go a little bit extra and over just to answer all the questions for all of the attendees here, for the ones that we do have right now. So let's go to Joel. Joel wants to know, can you use SSM with a file document manager where we check drawings in and out? When checking in files, they are removed from our local drives. Thank you, Joel.
Okay. Okay, Joel, that's a fantastic question. I know, I'm not sure about other third-party document managers, but I do know that Autodesk's Vault, their document manager, that Sheet Set Manager does work with Vault. I know a lot of people hate Vault. I understand that. I love it. We don't use it where I'm at now, but I know that Vault can work with Sheet Set Manager. They're made, because they're both from Autodesk, I know they're made to work together. They play with each other, usually pretty nicely. So Vault is one that you can look at and use. Now, other third-party document managers, I'm not really sure. I would have to talk with Autodesk or talk with the developer of that other of that managing software. So, and then you ask, when checking in files that are removed from our local drives, sure. And that happens, I think, with Vault even. Vault will check out a copy, save it on your local drive, and then put it back in, if I remember correctly. That will still work with it because Autodesk, they're both from Autodesk, and so they work well together, to the best of my knowledge. So I hope that helps you out there, Joel. And I do know that a lot of people are using Sheet Set Manager as a document manager, and it's not as powerful or as feature-rich as something like Vault or some other document manager is. But as we looked at here today, it does have some basic rudimentary tools that can help you, especially if you have no other solution for it. So this is a great, Sheet Set Manager is a great tool that's inexpensive because you've already paid for it when you bought the software, and it works right in with AutoCAD and or Civil 3D or AutoCAD, the mechanical, electrical, etc. And so it might be a cheap, alternative to something like that. And it's simple to use and to customize to your needs.
Cool. All right, moving on. Bodo wants to know.
Okay, next question.
This one's kind of structured, kind of weird, but it's renaming the path to the drawings means destroying the link in Sheet Set.
Okay. Yes. If you rename your file, or if you move your file to a different folder, yes, the link will no longer be there. So what you'll have to do then is repath it. So if you come to something like this base plate, what happens is if that file name changes, or if it gets moved, or if it gets deleted, whatever the case is, it will sort of gray out, and like a red X or a red question mark shows up. And so that tells you, hey, there's something wrong. That file is gone. Well, what you'll need to do then, if you right-click on that file or that drawing, go to Properties, and you'll see right here is the path. This is the expected layout. This is where it was expecting it to be, and this is where it found it. Well, if it's expecting it to be here but it can't find it, this will kind of be empty. So what you'll need to do is click on it, and up here on this one, the expected layout, and you'll see this little ellipsis, and click on it, and then you'll just have to browse again for the drawing. So you look for browse for drawings, you look for it, find where it is, click it, hit open, and it will put the list up here of the drawing that you have with a paper space tab, and you'll have to check the box, click import checked, and that will repath it. And it will keep all this other information in there, so you really won't lose anything that way. So that happens. Someone moves the file accidentally, or they rename it. What's the best practice with sheet sets, especially in XREFs, is to keep the current file the file name. And if you need to make a revision where the revision's so great that you need to make a copy of it, well, that's what I would do. I would copy the file and make that file, rename the copy, the new copy that you made. Put that somewhere in an archive folder or revisions folder, somewhere else, and then change that current file and don't change the name. That way all of your XREFs will work and all of your sheet set file paths will continue to work. So that's a great question.
All right. I have this question from Kelly. Kelly wants to know how to add a sheet to the sheet set. It's like a tongue twister.
Yes, it is. Sheet sets. I'll tell you, when I was recording my sheet set video, my tongue just went crazy, and I'm sure I accidentally said a lot of bad words. So don't worry, you can edit those out if you can imagine.
I'm having trouble right now.
Yeah, right. So it's not, it's like, and we're working with AutoCAD, it's like Lisp. It's a terrible thing, terrible word. Okay, so adding a sheet. There are a lot of different ways to add a sheet to a sheet set. So if I move my questions out of my way so I can see what I'm doing. So if I come to a drawing here, and I'm going to make a new tab here real quick. And this tab is just called Layout 1. And so if you have this drawing here, the very most simplest way to add it to your sheet set, well, first you have to save your file. And if you don't save your file ahead of time, don't worry, AutoCAD will let you know. They'll say, no, dummy, you can't do that. You got to save it first. That's okay. So you just Now that you have your tab ready, you just left click on it and hold and drag and drop it in. And it will bring up this list. It says, hey, this is the drawing name. This is the layout name. Is this the one you want? Yes, that's the one I want. And I hit import checked. And now I've added this sheet to my sheet set. That's really cool. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to right click on either the list or any of these subsets. And well, if you hit new sheet, that will create a brand new file and will automatically add it to it. It's kind of like we did with this test sheet here at the bottom. But the other method then is to import layout as sheet. So now you see you got this. We saw this last time. You just browse for a drawing. I'm just going to click a file here that comes up. Click open. And it gives a list of the file and all of the paper space tabs that are in it. Check the box for all the ones you want to add and click the import checked. And it added it right here. And if it adds it into the wrong spot, you can just left click and hold, drag it, and drop it into wherever you want it to go. You can always rearrange these things that easily.
Cool. Okay.
So I hope you can see how it's very easy to add a new sheet.
Gotcha. All right. Here's another one. Can I export data information from sheet set to an Excel document?
That's a good question too, and one I'm really not sure of the answer to. But let's take a few seconds and see. I'm not aware off the top of my head of an easy way to get it out, but I imagine there has to be a way. And I'll tell you what, I will try to find an answer to that question, and maybe I'll blog about it if I can find it within the next couple of weeks or so. Let me
Heads up, you know, like for some of
the sheet set data out into an Excel file. That's a great question and that is one that could be very useful because then you can get a list of all of your drawings, all of the project data, etc. Well, there is one thing you can do, and I wanted to show this earlier, and it completely slipped my mind. And Lisa, who's watching, I think, had asked about this before, and she'll be mad at me if I don't show it. One thing you can do, I'm going to open up my cover sheet here. And on this cover sheet, I have a list of all of the drawings in this set. And you can see that can be something that can take you a lot of time to manually create. Well, not with sheet sets. So I'm going to erase this guy here. It's just an AutoCAD table, but I'm going to generate that automatically. So if I come up here to my manufacturing sheet set, right-click on it, and I go to Insert. Okay, these are the sheet set tongue twister games. These are just, you know, fun. Insert Sheet List Table. Left-click on that, and this brings up a table, and I'm going to use this GSC just because it's one that's already set up. This is just a style, a table style that's set up for my sheet list. I'm going to click OK, and this inserts right there my sheet list. That's all of this bit of information. It puts it right here into a table. You can see the drawings that don't have numbers. That's that double dash line. AutoCAD will do that when that field doesn't have any data in it. So I generated all of these. Now if I come in here and go back to my cover sheet, right click, go to Properties, and let's say I change the name. I just want it to be called Cover. Click OK. That changed right there. Now if I select my table, right click, I can go to my Update Table Data Links. Click on that and you can see the little box and change that title right there. And that's really cool because I can rearrange some of these drawing orders. I can renumber some stuff. And so you can see it goes 1, 2, 3, 5 architectural, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it didn't update yet. That's okay. Select it, right click, and update table data. And you can see there it put in the new order. That's a really big time saver too when you have a lot of sheets. And then now, to sort of answer your question, this, since it's a table, you can export a table from AutoCAD into an Excel file. So to get your drawing list, that's one way you can do that. But the other bits of information, I don't have an answer to that question. You stumped me already. So hopefully that bit of information will help you out. But I will look into that and see if I can't find an answer, and I'll try to put a post on it to my blog, which you can find at cadablog.com. Just C-A-D-A-B-L-O-G. It's a blog about CAD. You know, very creative in my title creation there. You know, I admit it. So hopefully that will answer the question.
Just a heads up too. All of these questions we'll be forwarding them to Brian Benton, so that he'll be answering them as well on the on our Novedge blog too at blog.novedge.com. So two blogs.
Yes, that's great.
Cool.
Yes, I forgot about that. That's true.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll try to post some of these answers as quickly as I can get to them.
No worries. Okay, so this is a BIM question. I accidentally deleted this before, but what about a link between data information of sheet set and BIM database?
That's another question that I don't have an answer to directly. It will only, the only data, the sheet set will only display data that's in that sheet set file, in the DST file. It won't link to an outside file. So you'll create your sheet set file, your DST file, and then whatever information is in that, then your drawing files can reference. But you can only add that data through those custom properties. So you'll have to do that manually. Yeah, there's no other way to link that to an outside source.
Cool. Tony wants to know, this is
the question.
Oh, yeah,
the
sorry.
answer would be no, unfortunately.
Okay, Tony wants to know when two people are using two different sheets in the same sheet set and one is XREF'd into the other, how do they affect each other?
Yeah. Okay. They would affect each other just the same way any other XREF would. The files, well, you can only XREF model space files into other model space and then use then a viewport in your paper space tab to look at it. So you can only add paper space tabs to the sheet set itself. You can't add a model space tab to it. So if they're referencing each other, the drawings are only be affected the way their base files or their XREF part in model space changes each other. So your paper space tab, you're not going to be able to change on each other's drawings.
And this one is from Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Is there a way to automate the updating of the sheet index after it's generated and new sheets are added, or they are rearranged, renumbered, etc.? Currently, the only way I know is to select the index, right-click, and then select the update, the data links, tongue twisters.
Yes, sheet sets and AutoCAD are tongue twisters. Hi, Lisa. Yes. Well, actually not yes. No, it's not automatic. You have to do the right-click and tell it to update. The only other method would be to close that file and then reopen it. That's not any better. But that is a problem because someone could change something in the sheet set and you not know about it. But AutoCAD will pop up a little pop-up eventually that says there's a data reference, a data link that needs updated. And so when you make that drawing file, so if you look on this file here, on where is it at? So yeah, this file here that has our sheet index set up, it has a little link down here, a data link icon. So when you see that, if it changes, eventually once AutoCAD looks at the sheet set and looks at, hey, we have this data, oh, hey, the link needs updated, that will give you a bit of an indication. But it is something that could be easily missed, especially when you're in a hurry and yes, things need updated. So no, there's not a way to automate that. And a lot of times that happens with the regular with regular fields in the sheet set, like a drawing number, a drawing name, I'll find a lot of times you have to save the drawing file that you're working in to refresh the screen to get it to pop up. So that's annoying. So just before you print, maybe, and you're worried about it and you're aware that people have been working on it, you're going to have to make an effort to look at that and make sure it's updated with the right click or with just closing the file, and if you hit print, then it'll automatically, when it goes to print that file, update that link, and that's one way to maybe help.
Okay, moving on. I think we have two more questions. This is from John. Can you have custom fields in subsets?
No, I lost you there. Hopefully you still have me.
Oh, yes.
Says, can you have custom field? I lost you there for a minute.
Oh, can you have
says,
custom fields in subsets?
Okay.
Cool.
That's a good question, and no, you can't. If you right-click on one of your subsets and go to Properties, you don't get any custom bits of information. But that would be nice, because that would be really cool. So that's something that you could really help you out in managing your subsets, especially like where I work at. We have subsets for a project. We'll have a subset for our planning department, one for our surveying department, engineering, landscape, etc. And in our engineering department, where I do most of my work at, we'll have subsets in our subsets. But unfortunately, you can't really do that. All of your custom properties are going to all be lumped together right in the main title there. So unfortunately, that can make for a very long list of sheet custom properties or sheet set custom properties. So what we've done, or what I've done in a lot of cases, is when I go to make a new property, click Add, I'll start it off with a little tag like ENG for engineering, whatever it might be, or survey, something like that, and that kind of helps you to see what it is, because it populates the list in the alphabetic order.
I think this is a good one too. This is from Wesley. Does Sheet Sets work with AutoCAD WS, ADT, and MEP?
Great question. It will not with AutoCAD WS, but the others that you mentioned, it will. It will work with anything that's really AutoCAD, or really based off of AutoCAD, like Civil 3D Map, Mechanical Desktop, AutoCAD Electrical, AutoCAD Architect. All of those sheet sets will work with that. Even AutoCAD LT now will do that, but AutoCAD WS, no, it won't, which is unfortunate. But when you do, if you have an AutoCAD file and it has sheet set information in it, and then you upload it to your AutoCAD or Autodesk 360 account so that you can use it in AutoCAD WS, it will bring that sheet set information with it in the field and hold it for you. So you will have it when you open it up in AutoCAD WS. It won't lose it. It won't go blank or anything like that. It will keep that information in there. But you won't have access to the sheet set manager to change any of that.
This is from Glenn. I think this is a good one too, because it's about Autodesk, family of products like Inventor, for example. So look, Glenn is asking, looks like Sheet Set act similar to Inventor project files, or are they different in such how?
Okay. They are similar in a way in that it's a tool to help you to use all of that, but they are different. In that in Inventor they're more closely tied together, whereas in the Sheet Set Manager it's really just like an XREF link kind of sort of, so they're still independent, just kind of a reference link to each other, so they're not as tied as closely together.
That pretty much ends the Q&A session that we have. For those who didn't get their answers, I just want to remind you guys that Brian Benton, we'll be working with Brian Benton to answer these questions through our blog and also through Cadablog's blog post as well. So I guess I'll switch over back to me, Brian.
Okay, great.
Cool. Sheet sets. Oh, tongue twister.
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to make myself the presenter right about now. Cool. Sure. Cool. And let me know if you guys see my slides here.
Yes, we can see it.
Oh,
Yes, I
Aurora's
see.
mic is on. Nice. Well, on behalf of the Novedge team, we want to thank you guys for attending, and thank you to Brian Benton for joining us today. We feel very lucky to have him here, and we were just talking about Google Readers. I didn't know we have so much in common.
That's scary.
Oh, it is. Cool. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you guys are looking for more information or just looking for, you know, a good blog to have your RSS feed to, check out Cadablog, Brian Benton's own Cadablog, where you'll find CAD tips, drafting techniques, and other tech news as well. And be sure to stay tuned over there because Brian Benton will answer questions there as well. And if you're thinking about, you know, well, Novedge Webinar Series is brought to you in part by Novedge.com, and we are the leading online design software store. We have a huge collection of design tools and software packages that cater to every designer's needs. If you're looking to purchase a version of AutoCAD 2013 for Windows, feel free to head on over to our product page, and you can speak with our sales rep, Scott, at scott@novedge.com. Brian Ben, I think this page is definitely reserved for you. So if you have any good words about your product, definitely shout out.
Absolutely. Go shop at Novedge. They have all my stuff there. So buy it. I have kids. I have a wife and myself. I have no gadgets and techs that I want to buy myself. Yeah, Novedge is fantastic. I like them a lot. And also don't forget that everyone who signed up for this webinar, you're going to get an email with a coupon. It's not for a free hug for me. It's not. It's even better. You're going to get, I believe it's about 10 or 15% off of the regular price of my training video, which on Novedge is at a great deal for $45. So you're going to get it for even less than that. And it's 3.5 hours worth of what you saw today. Was very condensed and very fast, very rapid fire. But I'm going to go in depth into all the stuff you wanted to know about sheet sets and more. So if you want to get a better understanding, you really can't beat the price. Even at full price, it's a great deal, and at least I think it is. I'm very proud of it. And so you can go and get that and learn. And so it's a great way to teach yourself, to teach other users on how to use sheet sets and to get more familiar with it. And then one of the great things about sheet sets is you don't have to do everything right at once. You can start off just using it to print, and then you can add it in, data management and file creation, things like that. So it's something that you can ease into one project at a time. And so I really suggest that you use sheet sets if you're not, and if you are, look into using them even more. You will benefit from it, your company will benefit from it, and the small investment of your time today of an hour and small investment on buying these training videos will make your company much more money than what you're going to spend on it.
That was awesome. Cool.
I try to be awesome as often as I can.
Cool. And we're going to have our Novedge's marketing strategist, Aurora, take over here. Aurora?
Thank you, Brian. I really enjoyed your webinar.
Thank you, Brian. I really enjoyed your webinar, and thank you, Kevin. So I'll make this very quick. Please join us at wikicad.org to exchange tips and work that you create using Autodesk products, and also check out our blog twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. We post a series of interviews with artists and innovators. And in 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a new webinar, What's New with Bluebeam Review 11. Check it out. It's always on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Questions, comments, and feedback, feel free to contact me at kevin@novedge.com. And if you guys want to check out our full listing of upcoming webinars, head on over to novedge.com/webinar series. And if you missed something, or if you want to rewatch a certain part, skip an area that we had a tongue twist We got tongue twister tied. Head on over to vimeo.com/Novedge and also youtube.com/Novedge, where you'll find our webinar series channel, and you can catch up on all of the latest uploaded webinars. And on behalf of the Novedge team and on behalf of Brian, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you guys soon. All right, do you have anything else to add?
Well, thanks for having me.
I want to thank you all again. You
Go
first,
ahead.
Brian.
Okay, thank you. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Especially thanks for letting me plug my videos. Bye. Those things are fantastic. Yes, I am biased. I understand that. But I appreciate everyone who came in attendance wanting to learn more about sheet sets and AutoCAD and how you can use them. I think that's a fantastic thing that the attendees here were willing to give up an hour of time to get better at what they do. And I take a lot of personal pride and pleasure in that, and other people learning, just learning, and because I learn when I do these videos, when I blog, when I work on the articles for like Cadalyst Magazine or wherever it is, I learn myself. So I've learned it. Other people have taught me to it. I'm going to continue with that cycle of learning and sharing what I've learned. So I just appreciate everybody that was here today and for the opportunity.
Thank you, Brian. I really enjoyed the webinar, and you make everything so clear. And for everybody, yes, and for everybody else, and I know Brian is already connected with us. We're very passionate about community, so interact on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. We're there every day.
Oh yeah, I'm on Twitter all the time. I live on Twitter. I'm at BC Benton. That's BCBENTON. Follow me, tweet me, send me messages, ask me questions. Please, I'm on there all the time. So, but don't expect me to answer you in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So, thank you guys, and on behalf of the team, have a good one. Ciao.
All right. Thank you.